Hi everybody, welcome to your night before news for health and social care. I hope you've been doing your own independent revision, but hopefully this little video is going to help you just to consolidate some of your ideas, some of your answers, and hopefully make everything a little bit more clearer for tomorrow afternoon. So your PPE will be for 1 hour only. So it's going to be a slightly abbreviated version of the full paper, as we've still got a little bit of learning left to do. So I've deliberately chosen a variety of questions and styles of questions and length of questions to give you a feel of what the whole paper might be like. And so you're not going to get any longer answer questions on the real thing, because I've picked a 6 marker and that's the longest one you're going to get. So there are going to be 16 questions in total, but on the real thing there will be more than that. So to kick us off then, there will be on the paper somewhere a couple of multiple choice questions, and it's really important that you know how to answer that question correctly, especially for the real exam. So the paper that you write on for the real exam is scanned into a computer and then sent off to the markers all across the country to be marked electronically. So they don't post your exam paper to those people, they get sent it in like an email. So because of that, on the multiple choice questions, when you get a sort of like tick the box exercise, you're not actually ticking the box. Okay, you have to put an X through the box to indicate that that is the answer you want to give to that question. Okay, you can't put a tick in the box because the computer can't read that tick, and so it will just give you will just be given a 0 for that question, even if you have answered the right one. Okay, it does tell you on the paper exactly how to answer it. Right at the very top of the first set of questions, it shows you how to answer it, but essentially you need to put a cross through the box or an X through the box to indicate that is the answer I want to go for. If you change your mind, that's absolutely fine. You just need to put a line through the middle, one singular line, don't scribble it out, one singular line through the middle of that box, and then put an X in a different box. Okay, it does tell you all of that information at the start of the sections of questions, so make sure you read that information carefully if you are unsure. If you make that mistake in this PPE, I'm going to be really horrible and I am going to give you a 0 for it if you put a tick in the box, because you need to get into the habit of making sure that you cross through and you X through the box. Okay, so you need to make sure you read the questions really, really carefully. Okay, it might be asking you to do a couple of things or think about a couple of things in one question. So you need to know exactly what it's asking of you. So to start off with, we need to look at the command word in the question. So what does the question want you to do? So there are 4 potential command words that will come up on your PPE. So the first word that could pop up in a question is state. So that is just a sort of short response that's needed, 1, 2, 3 sentences, key information. It's not asking for any extra detail, it's just say what this is, okay? And usually they're going to be 1 or 2 mark questions in the first sort of section of the paper. Then you might get some explain questions where you need to give some key information and key detail like you would in state, but it needs a bit more detail, needs a bit more information. You might have to explain maybe what that thing means. And so those are going to be your 2 and your 4 mark questions. So usually you have to state that bit of information and explain what it means to get those 2 marks. And if it's a 4 mark question, you're probably going to be asked to do that process twice. Then you have the word identify. Usually this is used with the multiple choice questions that I've just been through, so it's about putting that cross through the box, and it could be a 1 or a 2 mark answer question for that one. And then finally, we've got discuss. So this is the longest answer question that you are ever going to have. It's going to be a 6 marker. So it's looking for more detail, it's looking for more explanation. You're going to have to use that so what technique that I've talked about loads and loads in our lesson to make sure that you're giving as much detail and as much explanation that you possibly can. Likelihood is they're probably looking for you to make 2 or 3 really detailed points for you to get those 6 marks. So I'll say it again, read the question really, really carefully, okay? It's going to probably be asking you for a couple of different things. One of the things that it might ask you is the question asking you for a positive or a negative impact, okay? And if it is doing that, you really, really, really must only give positives if it's asking you for positives, or only give negatives if it's asking you for negatives. You will get a 0, even if your point's valid, you'll get a 0 if the impact on the individual is the opposite to what the question is asking you. So check it really carefully, the question. It's quite an easy mistake to make, okay? But just check, is the question asking me for a positive impact on health and well-being or a negative impact on health and well-being? So again, read the question very carefully. So the question might ask you for positive or negative impact on a specific area of health and well-being. So they are essentially your pies. So you've got your physical health, so that's to do with the body. So if a question is asking you what are the physical benefits or the positive impacts of exercise on physical health, you need to just talk about the body. Okay, if it has a question, what are the positive impacts of going to school on intellectual well-being? It's asking you to talk about the brain. Okay, if you talk about a different area of the pies, you might be correct, but it's not what the question's asking you, so you won't be awarded the mark. Okay, it might ask you something like, what are the negative impacts of depression on emotional well-being? Okay, so this is what I mean when I say the question might be asking you for a couple of different things. It might be asking you for quite a specific piece of detail. Okay, what area of the pies in health and well-being is it asking you for? Is that impact positive? Is that impact negative? And just to finish off, there are a couple of little tips for you just to look at. So always read the questions and the mini case studies that you're going to be given really carefully, especially those mini case studies, because there might be some hidden information in there that could help you answer some of the questions. Check you understand what the question specifically wants from you in that answer, okay? And I've said it before, you can highlight, you can underline, you can box the keywords, the command words in the question if that really helps you to make sure you understand exactly what the question is asking of me. And then finally, look at the marks that are available, okay? If it is asking you to make 2 points and there are 2 marks available, likelihood is it's going to be 1 mark for each of the points that you make, okay? If it's a longer answer question or the command word it's telling you it's an explain and there are 4 marks available, then you're going to have to put a bit more detail in. Same with that 6 marker, we're looking for more detail. So check the marks, check to see what this command word is, what are the key parts of the question, and how much detail do I need to put in, okay? So if you have any questions, you can absolutely send me an email. There is a revision list on Arbor for you to have a look at. So go through that, check that you're happy with it. And yeah, if you've got any questions or any queries or something just isn't right or you think you might have missed something in our lesson, just let me know. Anyway, good luck for tomorrow.